Heavy, this thing heavy. Heavy. Oh. No wonder it's heavy. 62 pounds. Before I start, click like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to put your comments down below. Comment about this. And let's start now. Based on the MSRP of this RS3100, this projector costs approximately about $23,000 Canadian after tax. I don't know what's in here. Power cable, which I'm not going to use. Has this JVC remote, which I also will not use because this remote absolutely sucks in terms of feeling, and there is no lens memory direct button over here. My suggestion is, actually, if I can find the remote, oh, I'll show it to you later. And here's the projector. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm looking forward for the projector, but not dismantling this setup. Oh yeah. 8K eShift X, so it gives you the exactly 33 megapixel, as if it is a native 8K projector. Yes, I know, even my dog right now really wants to watch something using this projector. He's been waiting since September 1st to watch movies in this home theater. So as I mentioned earlier, I highly recommend for you to buy the RMMH24G JVC remote. The reason being is that this remote has lens memory direct button. You see those buttons, mode 1, mode 2, and mode 3. By pressing those buttons directly, you can set one aspect ratio for 16:9, another for 17:9, and another one for scope, and that's what I do. If you choose to use only the supplied remote, unfortunately, in order to change lens memory, you have to press menu first, and then from there you go to the installation mode, press enter, and then you click mode select again, and then you choose whether you want 16:9, 21:9, or 17:9. And then you have to press enter again from there. That takes too much time and way too many steps in order to do one simple thing. And then after you're done, you still have to go press menu again for it to disappear. So if you're using multiple aspect ratio, just get an older remote from JVC, older model I mean, and you can direct access whether you want 16:9, 17:9, or scope, or whichever way you want to program the lens memory inside the projector. So now we're on to a quick setup. Disclaimer, this is not, and I repeat, this is not calibration. I highly recommend for anybody to do a professional calibration regardless. However, you don't calibrate until you have about 100 to 300 hours on the laser diode. So what to do while you're waiting for the calibrator to come. So here are the tips. You press menu, and then on the first tab on the left, you press enter, and then you go to content type. Make sure it's set on auto so it moves back and forth automatically between standard dynamic range and high dynamic range. Picture mode, leave it at natural. Don't use cinema film or whatnot. Put on natural because it is the most natural looking out of the box. Now under more setting, because of the brightness of the RS3100, for my projection screen, which is 96-inch diagonal, I only use laser diode power as low, not medium, not high. Low is bright enough for me. I always turn off dynamic control, so there's no pumping effect whatsoever, but I open the aperture to the maximum. So basically, the laser diode power that's being used is at the highest, brightest level under low power. I leave contrast, brightness, color, tint as is because, first of all, again, this is not calibration. And leaving them as is right now, it works pretty well. Then you press back. Set the color temperature to 6500 Kelvin. This is valid only if you have firmware 1.2 or above for your projector. As you may have known, the previous video I created, I recommend 7500 Kelvin, but that's for firmware 1.0. So 1.2, it's better, it's more accurate if you use 6500 Kelvin. And gamma, if you like a slightly brighter picture, you can use 2.2, but usually I use 2.4 in my light controlled completely 100% dark room. Down here, you see the MPC E-shift. You press enter, and then you will see this page. My recommendation is, in order to create the best focusing, you turn it off. So you turn off the 8K E-shift and then do the focusing. And then once you're done, you can change it back to 8K E-shift on if you want to for a more solid image on screen. So I personally use the 8K E-shift after I'm done with the focusing. Then you press back and you set motion control here. I can turn off low latency and clear motion drive to off, and I have motion enhance to low. This actually helps with some of the motion artifacts being diminished by the quite dramatic amount, making the projector even more watchable, so to speak. I don't use clear motion drive because that's basically a frame insertion, so a fake frame insertion that makes everything looks like soap opera. So I don't use that. And then click back one more time to go all the way to the top. Go to the third one now, and then you do your lens control, such as focus, zoom, and shift. And then when everything's done, you go to screen settings. You press screen settings, and then screen adjust switches to on. From the factory, it's off, right? So you turn it on. In my case, my screen number is 71. That's for Stewart Studio Tech 130 G4. And I put 80-inch because that's the 16:9 area of my scope screen. Is measured at 80-inch. I put screen gain at 1.3 because Studio Tech 130 is 1.3 screen gain. And then bring down to Theater Optimizer. If you're doing this in HDR mode. Of course, you have to also do the HDR10 setup for your projector. So you go all the way back and then go back to content type and choose HDR10. Picture mode, make sure you are under frame adapt HDR. That's one of many reasons you buy the JVC projector for. And then from HDR processing here, out of the box it says scene by scene, but you want to choose frame by frame to have the most effective way of dynamic tone mapping analysis done by the projector. You turn the theater optimizer on, and the HDR level here, from the factory it says to auto. I personally don't like using auto simply because I don't want to see any pumping effect whatsoever, although the pumping effect is extremely minimal and difficult to see. I set it to 0, so it's not too dark and not too bright in terms of gamma reproduction on my screen. The same thing with E-shift. I usually turn it off for the focusing and then turn it back on when I'm done. Motion control on HDR content, I still turn off low latency and clear motion drive and set the motion enhance to low for the same reason as the SDR settings. That's basically it. So yeah. So before I end this video, I just want to share a little bit of my experiences with the RS3100, or also called NZ8. This is based on my current experience with my own projector and also two of my clients' projectors. The picture quality is extremely astounding. Even comparing it back to back with my still current, but now in my bedroom, NX7 with brand new bulb, the NX7 with brand new bulb still look murky compared to the NZ8. Some people will say, oh yeah, of course it's going to be like that because the NZ8 is more expensive. No, not necessarily because of that. Don't talk about price when you're talking about performance. I recommend you to look at the technical side of it. And the NZ8 has a much cleaner picture, so you don't see any streaking whatsoever in high contrast area. And the lens happens to be much sharper too compared to my NX7. And also the pixel density seems to be tighter. Perhaps it's just simply because I use the 8K eShift X, but that is what my eyes can see. If you find this video to be helpful, click like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to put your comments down below so we can start a discussion. And also, don't forget to click the notification button so the next time I upload a video, you will always be notified. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.